And we are live. Welcome to the Piranha Pond, everyone. I am your illustrious host, once again, Kingfish Mac, joined by the Piranhas in the Pond, my crew. To the right or left of me, depending on how you're looking, is my boy, Nick Nass. How you doing, Nick
Hey,
Nass? What's
hey.
happening with you, baby boy?
Oh man, still meaning bacon,
Mr. 33rd and the third himself.
Yes,
the
sir.
30th and the third.
And look like we lost none flyer for a half a sec. Down in the bottom right here, we have the lovely Miss Nick Mo. What's going on with you, Ma?
Yeah.
How you doing?
It's good to see you again. We missed you. We missed you on Friday.
I miss y'all on Friday. Thank y'all so much for holding it down.
I seen that Band-Aid on your hand too. I just want you to know I know where you was at.
I know you use that.
Off trying to rack them off, huh? You was out there trying to rack them off.
I really wasn't at a range, but my cousin was actually showing us showing me different guns, and one of them was a Beretta, and what the one previously was a 40. So which was a smaller gun. So when he gave me the Beretta and I cocked it back, my hand placement was up forward. It was in the wrong spot, and it pinched me really, really bad. And
Do it.
I was bleeding a lot. It took a minute for it to stop, but because it bled right away, because I thought it was gonna blister for a while, it actually had just kind of like bust and bled. So I was kind of grateful for that because after I put the band-aid I bled on that night, it hadn't bled anymore.
I'm definitely glad that you are okay, mommy.
Yeah, I was
No
hurt a little
Wasn't
bit, but
nothing.
hey, it's good now.
The secret
And
is the
my
secret
boy
is
None
shell. Look,
Flyer.
you go like this. You push. You hold the top. And you never let it slide. I'll show you when I see you next time. You be
Okay,
like, oh, like that.
right, I did that all wrong.
No, you didn't do it wrong. But
My face.
we're gonna apply uh Nick ism on there and apply it in the right position. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Get that on. There we go. Hey,
So
do we
that's
get nut
that.
flyers?
And my boy come back just in time for his intros.
Nice.
Jumping Jack
My
Pretty
boy
Fred.
None
good.
Flyer,
Jumping
what's
Jack.
going on with you, baby boy?
I'm ill, man. Wrestling with these goddamn microwaves, Wi-Fi waves and shit. But
Mm-mm.
I'm getting my OG baby Undertaker on. I think I can get it. I think I can slay it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. We are definitely in the game. Let's see what we got to talk about today.
Let us have it.
Well, in light of um, some of the more popular recent controversial shit that's been going on with some of our celebrity people, um, in specific, let's talk about Quavo and Saweetie getting into it in the elevator over a PlayStation bag that might have had $500,000 in it or a PlayStation 5. We still don't know which one.
Yeah, ain't
Uh,
investigated that
or
quick.
you,
Allegedly.
we can kind of see that, this kind of seems pretty regular for their scenario. Quavo don't look too phased about, her being on the floor. She's, staying on the floor. I don't know if it's being overly dramatic or if she really hurt. And he don't really seem to really trip until, he sees these cameras. And of course, now somebody is, standing outside the door looking at, that's got to be a cold scenario. The elevator door opens up and this nigga is standing there and his girl is on the floor. Probably looked like he had punched her in the eye or some shit like that. My question, and the question or the topic for the day is, What's up with these toxic relationships, man? Are toxic relationships the norm? Are they worth it? Are they more and more prevalent? You know what I'm saying? Are we seeing more and more young people being in toxic relationships? Are we more apt to be in a toxic relationship because, you know, sex is good or whatever? Talk to me, fam.
All right, hold on. Before we get the topic started, Mr. Fish, did anybody get a report on whether the PlayStation 5 survived the fight? Anybody?
Wait.
Did anybody get a report on whether the PlayStation 5 survived the fight? Was the PlayStation okay? Is what I'm asking.
Yeah, it was taking the beating. Now. It was being abused for
They
real.
was pushing the old PlayStation around and shit like, nigga.
I mean, they are kind of hard to come by.
But disrespectful part was right. He used it as an elevator stop. Man, come on now.
Right.
That's a PlayStation you fuck around with.
It wasn't GameStop, it was elevator stop.
That is
elevator stop, man.
There
But
you go.
importantly, on this topic, is there ever a valid reason just to put your hands on somebody?
Nope.
Well, that's part of the question.
I mean,
is there?
Man.
And I think without hands down, it's no.
I mean, in terms of anybody or just female?
No, anybody.
It's a relationship.
So let me be the devil's advocate in that in your scenario, Shell. So say with Quavo and Saweetie, right? Say if it wasn't no more to it before the story than just exactly what the hell we saw, right? And what we saw was, you know, her throw something at him or a punch or some shit, right? Grab the bag, wrestle the shit from him. You know, it seemed to me, again, you know, I know that I got a biased opinion, but it just seemed to me that the man was trying to get his bag. He didn't give a damn about trying to dominate, whoop you, beat you down in the submission, none of that shit.
Once you got the bag,
his bag, right? And to be fending off what amounts to a physical attack, whether or not, you know, it's a physical attack that's really gonna hurt him, is immaterial. So what is his proper course of action in that scenario? And what's hers?
Okay, for me, it all depends on what's happening. Like, since I'm not no fucking outwardly just act a fool in public kind of dude, nigga, I know where you live, bitch. I come to your house. I'm gonna get my shit.
Oh yeah, that's pretty goddamn toxic there, partner.
Yeah, how we fuck? You ain't just finna walk off from a shit. Like, I don't know that situation, but if it was like a, you know, I'm finna take this back type of thing, whatever, and you can have that shit. I ain't finna wrestle you down in public over no fucking PlayStation. But I do know where you live. I'm coming to get my shit. Yeah.
Now I get that, Keena. That was her response to the whole situation, but again, we dealing with people that's in the public eye. She did admit that particular that it was in reference to an old altercation and no harm was done, but it was a very toxic relationship.
Well,
but
I guess.
However,
okay,
yeah, go ahead, Keith.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but just anyway with it, like, regardless if it was old or new, like, when are we just going to accept the fact that issues need to be handled in a better way than putting your hands on somebody? Because regardless if it was a jerk or if it was a push, you know, I don't think one negates the other. And on top of that, and you know, and then from the results of it, it got very public really quick. And I know most celebrities these days are quick to say, I am that role model. because they consider what they do a job and a profession as well. But I just think that you don't set the precedent that that's the right course of action. I guess meaning to say that in some type of way, because I'm gonna just be real with it. I got nieces that like her, music. For all intents and purposes, I like her on her music, and I see her on her videos. So I just think that when you're in the public eye, like not even just in the public eye, but you have to set the precedent that it's not okay to put your hands on you. Or people, period. And if and regardless if we had more footage of what went on with that situation, even if it's a situation that she put her hands on us, on him, I guess importantly what I'm trying to say is that we need to do a better job of respecting people and their property, because
conflict resolution.
people regard their property as personal property, and by all intents and purposes, it is their property. So I just think we gotta, as a society, we have to do a better job with just, respecting people's space more, for lack of a better phrase.
That's the thing. Well, my view of it is abuse is abuse.
Hold on, I'm gonna say this, and because sometimes people don't know their strength, I do think that you have to, at some point, you have to kind of avoid putting yourself in situations to what people may be able to do you bodily harm. Like, wasn't it really important for her to reach in for that bag? Enough to where it made him fling her ass in the elevator the way it did. Wrong on both accounts. If that's his own personal property, then don't touch it. And at the same, that do people value material items more than they do a person's self?
So the thing is, where it all starts is with the hate and grammar, right? It all starts verbally. So abuse is viewed as verbal abuse or mental abuse, right? So if you conduct yourself in that kind of manner and you bring that into your aura, into your space, right? It is toxic because you already have in your mind what are you going to say to this person to where it's going to sting the most? Who's going to throw the daggers, right? Then all of a sudden, they'll your neck like pit bull. I want to use the pit bull because the innocent person in the whole situation, right? But right in your ear, and like we said a little ago, right? It's like, oh, you want to accept that because some people vibe off of toxicity and abuse.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Especially hate and grammar. So where does it end in that part, or where do we begin to heal from that part? The underlying big thing, what I'm saying, that really goes on is the language that we conduct ourselves with, in the respect level or the lack of respect on any person's ground.
And hold up, because Keita brought it to my attention, I am no way whatsoever victim shaming. All I'm saying is that because it's clearly she got slung in the elevator. I'm not taking away from that. I said two things. I don't agree that he put his hands on her, and if she did reach in to grab his personal items, then she shouldn't have done that as well. There's two sides to every story.
But see, and that's the part right there that people are quick to say on our view of the situation, we have been through to actually comment on this, and we know how shit goes. If they had audio to go with the video, what I'm saying, what's the competition? All we seen is the actions of whatever transpired before that, whatever materialized, right? And to me, you innocent till proven guilty, or you get it guilty till you prove it innocent. You know what I'm saying? Because people in, like we said, in toxic situations, what are they used to doing behind closed doors? You're right, Shell. You're in the public. So when your business go to the streets and you want to be in the know, or you want to have content is this the right content you want, or do you? Because people sign up that fucking content on regular TV shows. They just happen to be in the elevator in their own race. How about that? Because we
Uh,
see some shit come.
Seems like we got a little sibling rivalry going on in the comments right here with my Keena and Duke.
You know what I'm saying? It's so and you're right, Matt, because this is a let's make a disclaimer, right? That what it is what it is. And when it works, we've seen some people just react by bringing out the clapper and it's like no questions asked. You know what I'm saying? You fully disrespect me, I feel violated. You know what I'm saying? You kick my dog, you gonna die. You know what I'm saying?
So what
I believe.
Go ahead, Frank.
I believe that in situations, especially when it comes to male and female situations, conflict resolution has to change, because once emotions get riled up and it become all types of bullshit, when it could be as simple as you go your way and I go mine type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody wants to be, I guess, the winner. I don't know how that works out because everybody end up mad at the end, regardless. But
in my mind, I'm gonna treat this same situation as my opposed to the standpoint on what's going on with the police stuff that's going on. I feel like there needs to be better ways to diffuse a situation,
right?
Than to result in that. Again, no, we don't know what went on before that, and we really don't have to know what went on before that. But just from what it appeared to be, regardless if it was that, I don't think it constituted him swinging her the way he did. And I guess at some point you ask who should have walked away. Should she have maybe not provoked, the part that we maybe didn't see, and should he have just been, and I hate to say man enough, but I would just say, lack of a better phrase, man enough to just be like, let me not, because why? It's easy for him. It's easier from that scenario for him to be viewed as an abuser. Because he did sling her in such a caliber. That video didn't show him maybe pushing her out of his way, out of his face. He flung her in the elevator. For all intents and purposes, he didn't know had cameras.
Or even help her up.
Right. And on top of that, he still didn't help her up. And like you said, when he saw the cameras, he appeared to have maybe had stopped. But if he didn't see the cameras rolling, would he have possibly done more?
Well, I thought after he was in there, it was over. After he got his shit back, he was in there.
I would wonder what more. But I feel where you're coming from, right? Because I understand that because of where we come from and the shit that we saw in the generations before us, the interactions between men and women and whether they fought in the house and, whether that shit was some acceptable shit. It just what it was. I think that now in this day, we are a lot quicker to be with the zero tolerance, right? Like, there's no reason for a man to put his hands on a woman's shit, right? And I totally and completely understand and agree with that.
Now, what bothers me more, that it makes me think that more could have transpired, because, again, when you fling somebody and commit to get in the elevator with them, at what point he could have just not gotten in the elevator?
So I think that
so it didn't appear as nobody tried to defuse the situation. I don't know if she was in a better predicament to defuse it, because she was flung into an elevator. At that point, she was on the floor. To me, an elevator reads closed doors. So the fact that he slung her and got in the elevator too, that makes me think that it could allude to more could have happened in that elevator. I'm glad that it didn't.
Okay, I got one for you. So So this is the one thing that because we see how it comes to our own conclusion, right? But the overall fact is that people love attention. Toxicity loves company. Misery loves company, right? So in their actions is they want to be so uh, don't want to separate because how they say it now they get in the bag, right? So they suffer some turmoil, and it was one episode that we had where we said that what would you do? Would you walk away from everything? Would y'all do everything the same? And then what cost does it
No,
come to
nothing
when it's
fly.
at the end? You know what I'm saying? So
So
it's
let
like
me give you this
that.
scenario. If 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 it would have been an argument out, like say you got to get together, the argument getting really, 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 really bad, and you still arguing. Do you a get do you get in the car with that person while it's that bad?
No, no, you walk away because walking away is a thing. But in these days, right? I'm a punk if I walk away and I don't stand there and fight. From what I've seen in the public, the people that displays public abuse and verbal, you ain't shit, you a hoe, you ain't nothing, you good for nothing, so forth and so on. But 5 minutes later, you text me as I walk out the room, you know what I'm saying? So the case is still open, so it's festered into had a bad day, right? If you invite that energy in your life, right, and you actually said from the start, I don't even want to be in a toxic anything, not a toxic job, not a toxic lifestyle, not abuse anywhere. So if you, how did you say, if you can't say nothing good,
I
don't
agree.
say nothing at all.
Right.
Period. You
So
know what I'm saying?
I
And
just
it's
yeah. No, go ahead.
how you want to how you want to carry yourself in this day. Now we all know that it don't go nowhere. You if you got to go in front of a, a, a jury to say who did what, you arguing the whole point, then it should have been like, look, I'm okay with it. My inner peace is non-negotiable. I'm not gonna let you get me to that state, right? And if I feel like it's gonna be in that state tomorrow, I'm not gonna be around it. I don't need that in
So
my life. And this is the thing, right? Every day I wake up, it's a rebirth of me. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow is here, right? So if I feel like I'm in jeopardy, or you're going to be a liability instead of full coverage, I don't want you. I don't want to be in no your surroundings. Period. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking that full coverage insurance and getting you out of there. You know what I'm saying? Period. And that's just the way it is. So we could fix it by not being to, you know what I'm saying? Keep the same energy you got to try to break somebody down and abuse another person, and you still say that you love them and you're not loyal to them. You know, you're not gonna lie to me. How about more than I when you trying to tell me it's gonna get better? Just let me hit you 2 more times or whatever. How about you don't do that at all? You know what I'm saying? We don't even go down that road. How if we're not gonna even build you're gonna lose money, you're gonna lose fans, you're gonna lose revenue, or we're gonna lose the I like how you said it, we're gonna use the contract. The contract is over. You know what I'm saying? Either you get fired, you get laid off, or you walk away. Or how about you not qualified to deal with my life? So are you that frustrated? You know what I'm saying? Are you that frustrated over a bag? You didn't buy me this, you didn't get me that. You know what I'm saying? You got money in there. So if he had 100 racks up in there, like I'm pretty sure he probably would. He's like, I'm not gonna tell you what's in it because you think it's yours. You know what I'm saying? Now fall back. But people hold on to things to keep you in situations instead of letting you go. It's the end of the cycle like a washing machine sometimes. Let it go. What are you battling for when it's already fucked up?
I think a lot of times, and maybe maybe we just don't want to admit it because feelings be involved. But I do just think as a whole, we have to we have to really evaluate what we want out of relationships because toxicity shouldn't be anything that we aspire to like the goal of the relationship. You know that can and shouldn't be the thing keeping you drawn to the relationship. I think we need to do a better job with focusing on good qualities, because again, you have to take a person at face value, and how many, and I know everybody's threshold of bullshit they accept is different from everybody else, but
One. Mm.
but at what point, and I guess that's just the golden question. At what point do you be like, you know what? I gotta walk away because don't put hands on her. Or she be like, I need to walk away because I'm finna ball some fucking grit and scar his ass. I just think that, you gotta take time out sometimes. You gotta pull back and yes, you might care about somebody, but it comes a point in time that you have to just be like, is it really worth it? So what's the end result? And are we just gonna keep doing this and doing this and doing this all over again? And like at one point it's gonna be enough. She did walk away. That's definitely a success story in that she walked away. But how many people don't?
But the thing is, right? How many people
And it ends up being
value
to not just men and to the women too, and a lot of times children be involved in that.
But how many people value? How many of us value material things to say that we are worth it? That's one thing you got to ask. What is the underlying gumbo mix that goes into the pot before you turn the heat up and it boils over, right? And we never think about it because we're hunkered. Most people are being in that wavelength, right? Because, like we said in a couple of episodes ago, right, that I fight the world every day. I come home, do I have to fight you? You know,
Right.
where is the even play? Now, what if it was kids around and they seen this? So they said, "Mom and Daddy, they didn't hear," because kids hear more behind closed doors in the room through the walls. And it's like, what the first thing said, "I ain't gonna never be like that." Why they always yelling and screaming? And people's tones these days are actually more detrimental to a relationship because they feel like they gotta break you down to build you back up. You know what I'm saying? And that is one. I don't even know the word. I ain't even trying to use that word, but it's in our culture to be defensive and to try to protect our stuff. You know what I'm saying? Even our bodies. So, you know what? We don't own nobody's sexual organs. We don't own nobody's house. You know what I'm saying? And we definitely don't own nobody's time. Time belongs to no one but God in the universe, right? So whatever this hiccup was or this dysfunction that we see it on video, I had made a little thing. I said, I'm like toast. You never know when I'm gonna pop up. And these videos are like toast. You never know when they're gonna pop up. So are you ready to deal with it when it does? You know what I'm saying?
And
Everything is video test.
And again, I think that a lot of people just need to realize, verbal abuse counts for way more than domestic abuse. And and that is something that's almost really behind closed doors.
Yeah. And the thing is, I feel like I'm not really in tune with that because I don't allow that comes into my life. So I have no idea who actually like lives like that. I'm pretty sure that somebody says so, but they will consider me a bully because I just laugh at you. Oh, okay, that's how you feel. I'm keeping it moving. All gas, no brakes. You know what I'm saying?
And again,
like
this goes back to what I said the other day that, if somebody making you feel like your personal best isn't enough, again, them ain't your people.
yeah, there you go. You know what I'm saying? I could do how they say I could do bad all by myself. So Frank and Keith, right? Like even examples that we see out here in the streets, or even being around people, you know what I'm saying, in our community or whatever, if we see them get to argue, if first day we say, "Oh, here we go again," it didn't happen now. You know what I'm saying? And we like in the mix, but we'll never step in and try to separate it because that person becomes the abuser. That person stepped in and put their hands trying to separate them. So they can say right there, Frank, you said, "Matt, you touched me. You pushed me a little too hard. You pushed her a little too hard. Y'all didn't abuse her." You know what I'm saying? If you get too close, that is the thing. So, uh, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know where to begin on even saying that, what is the resolute to this? What do we fix it at? Where do we even start? In these videos are just a small tail or a small window from us from the outside looking in. You know what I'm saying? But, universal wise, I'm talking about globally, you know what I'm saying? Because like we said, it's racism, it's people talking shit, and words are very, very, it's a triggering point.
And I
You know
was
what I'm saying?
just gonna say that it's triggered because I could label a couple of times where I felt like I was in a verbally abusive relationship. Now I have triggers. You're not gonna talk to me any kind of way. If I feel like you coming at me left, then it's a trigger. And and that's not really it's not really a way that you want to live. So again, I guess that takes us back to the therapy aspect, getting help for some of these things that we feel like we have, but or releasing them in some type of way. But it has a domino effect. And that shit could alter your life and the decisions that you make thereafter.
People get upset when I laugh at them. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going there. I'm not going to let you take me down that road. So I asked you away, and I got stuff thrown at me in the back. But I'm like, hey, that's a part of your function, not mine. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So I don't know. If I'm an asshole for that, but I'm like, huh. But if you want to keep on trying to press, I will press that in. Like I used to say, I'll give you I'll fluff a pillow for you to sleep on, real proper like. You know what I'm saying? But that's not in me no more. It's a new leaf. You know what I'm saying? So
Some people just gotta
and
have that friction, bro. Some people just gotta have that friction.
And but
I
that's
think
the
you
thing.
just said this.
That way, through
Where
life
does it come
experience.
from, though?
I said some people just have to have that friction.
But I said you said a valid point, right? Like, where did that come from? Where did the motions of fighting or toxicity came as a replacement for love?
Because
You know what I'm saying?
aggression does
I'm
not
saying this because
equal love.
I love you, but what happened to the dedication? What happened to the loyalty? Hard work, dedication. Work on yourself first before you try to give yourself to somebody. This is dysfunction. When you think you are broken, you know what I'm saying? I wish Felicia chime in on this one as far as like you just said, going back to the mental health. What is the baseline mental health of us? You know what I'm saying? Because we fight for everything anyways. So to fight a relationship, does it mean that you love you better, or you gonna wait till somebody get choked out or stomped out? You know what I'm saying? Like overall on the board, right? Where do because it's a very tough subject, right? Where would y'all say that we could begin on changing the mindset first? Not building, but changing the mindset. Any of y'all? Frank Mac? Frank K Mac?
I spoke. I want to hear what Mac got to say.
I don't even know what the question was. I was thinking about I was about to say something to Shell, but I forgot what it was. What's the question, bro?
Where do we begin to start at with rebuilding ourselves to get out of that we need to accept toxicity in our life to have a relationship?
Well, I think that's going to first start with some self love because you have to. I guess at some point you have to know within yourself that you deserve better, whether it be man or female. You if you don't know or if you don't have that pillar to stand on, then I think you'd be more acceptable to bullshit.
Mm. Mac?
Um, I'm kind of threw off because I got a whole bunch of shit swimming around in my head trying to answer all the shit that you said and everything that kind of came down the pipe. Um, let me just say this. Fuck the question, right? My position on on the topic is this. Like I was saying before, I don't believe that a man and a woman should be physically, having no kind of physical contact, fighting and shit, because, it's number one, it's not fair, right? Like very few scenarios where the woman is going to be on the winning end of this, right? And what also comes into mind is two things. First thing is I was listening to you talk, Shell, and your position, even though your position is um, kind of in the middle, right? You're not choosing a side because you are saying, well, both, they shouldn't be, you shouldn't put your hands no matter what, who you are. But the underlying sentiment is that no matter what, it's this nigga's fault, right? No matter how it turns out, right? No matter what the scenario was beforehand, no matter how it, if she did something, oh, well, she can't hurt him, so he should have an acceptable method of disengaging from the situation that does not involve him physically defending himself, slinging her around, pushing her, getting her to fuck off of him, or attacking her, right? And again, it's kind of like it's got a saying in the game, quote unquote, right? And that saying is the second that a man puts his hands on a woman, he's letting her know that he's reached the limits of his intellectual capabilities, right? And that sounds good as fuck, right? My question is, how intellectually capable do you expect every motherfucker to be? Like, to what extent is it that any man is supposed to be showing this excessive amount of tolerance? Which kind of brings us to the crux of the conversation. Because my position is not going to ever be to defend one or the other. Because if I'm put in that position, I have to be very transparent. I am a man. I'm going to side on I'm going to err on the side of the man, right? I'm going to give the nigga the benefit, except in instances where this nigga is totally and completely out of order, right? You didn't jump out the phone and beat this girl half to death because she out of the club, girls, some shit like that. But some shit like what we seeing right here, where all the comments is, well, we don't know. What if? What if the camera wouldn't have been on? Like everything is kind of presuming that this nigga is the boogeyman, and that had it not been for something else, then her situation would have been so much worse. I would reverse it and say she probably is the one that's been kind of pushing them buttons in that relationship. If you just look at her conversation, the way that she interacts with the media, the way that she regards other niggas when she's talking about men in her life and what men are supposed to do and this, that, and the third, and the way that things are supposed to be for her, right? I would imagine that a nigga that's not conforming to any of that shit is probably going to have a hard fucking day. And this nigga been sticking down. And what he said was in his tweet, after all the fuck shit, let's not excuse none of the fuck shit, but let's do this. Let's look at what he said in his tweet. Damn, I did not know that you were who you are. Wow. Niggas don't waste words, Shell. Niggas don't waste words. A nigga's not gonna post that shit unless he really felt that shit. So a real nigga is gonna be like, damn, the fuck did this bitch do to this nigga for them to end up like that? And then all the stories of him repossessing the Bentley and this, that, and the third, that's all real hurt pain shit, right? Sounds like this nigga was at the end of his intellectual capabilities to me. He was on all emotion. My question is, and the question for in terms of the entire topic is, how used to these types of relationships are we in the hood to where that shit is like, well, that's just their shit. That's how they get down. Because as Nick said, if, some good Samaritan jumped in the elevator at that time and put mitts on Quavo, Saweetie probably would have fucking fucked his ass up. Because that's what we always are facing. So instead of saying, well, the toxicity is more palpable on the man's part, or less on a woman's part. My question is, to what extent are we as a society, as a community of people, allowing this to be the norm so that when some shit like this turns up on TMZ, you know, because of some celebrities, we can be on some who's right or who's wrong. But you got a homegirl who, you know, talk crazy as a motherfucker to her dude every night when y'all come in from the club on Saturday at 3 o'clock in the morning. She all the way out of pocket, smelling like fucking alcohol and whatever the fuck else, and talking crazy as fuck to this nigga, and probably will brush by him and elbow this nigga in the stomach on the way to the bath. Get the fuck out my way, nigga. I don't know. Because you know how y'all do us when y'all know that we ain't going no fucking where. So my question is, how normal is this type of toxicity? And are we just jumping out the window and pointing the finger at this nigga because he's Quavo? Because he's some famous motherfucker. How many of your homegirls, baby daddies, you know what I'm saying, grab her motherfucking ass and push her up against the refrigerator, grab her by the fucking throat and kiss her in the fucking mouth? She don't know what the fuck to do.
Well, again, because I don't want it to get what I'm saying being misconstrued. Again, all I'm saying is from the standpoint was that I think he went too far when he slung her, because it seems like it could have been a lot of ways to where he could have walked away from that situation. Maybe he could have just grabbed his bag and kept on going. But let me just take it one step further. To elaborate what I'm saying is that I personally don't feel like Stallone should have put hands on Jay-Z in that elevator at times too. Because Keenan's my sister, and yes, I'm gonna go hard as fuck for her. But if no hands were laid on her, it doesn't mean it doesn't give me the right to put hands on somebody else in reference to her unless they doing her bodily harm. So I mean, I that, you know, yeah, it's not about self-restraint, but I want that to be. I want that to come across as that no, in any of those situations, I don't expect hands to be put on. No matter, because none of the footage from that party showed him putting hands on Beyonce. It might have been some infidelity involved, but it didn't show him putting hands on Beyonce for Solange to get into the elevator and put hands on him. So what I'm saying is that no situation. We just got to do better with not engaging, and I think that's where we missed the bullet too. Not engaging situations that could lead up further into situations. And yeah, that's a black and white. That's a very gray area. There's no real good way to go about that, but it's got to be a better way than to just keep normalizing toxic relationships.
So this like I say, we got toxic relationship with police officers.
Yeah, Duke, I agree with that. Duke said he should have touched the stairs. I agree. Because because in this particular scenario, so what if it might have been a PlayStation 5? I don't know what's in the bag, you don't know what's in the bag, but Tina, I got you. But what I'm saying is that outside of him putting his hands on you, then no, I shouldn't put my hands on him. Again, even with verbal abuse, we need to know how to walk away from a situation sometimes than to just keep egging it on.
So, Shell, so now we're going to get all the way gangster on this, right? So, I know, I said we're going to get gangster all the way on this, right? I know some particular females that stays carrying a pistol. Right? It was situations that I have seen where the person's like, look, go somewhere with that, right? But it became all of these things like, you're not going to stand up here and fight with me. You don't think I'm important enough to battle with me and show me that you're willing to fight for me. And they actually brandished the pistol and said, I'm so frustrated because you don't hear me. You don't hear when I'm screaming at you. You ignore the fact that I'm not hurt, but I'm disappointed. And that you won't fall into place with this shit that I was built upon from whatever traumatization I went through to got me to this point, where it was a bad breakup, another dude, another woman, whatever it was to make that person to act this way. And they actually busted at him. Now he got grades and stuff, but is that too far to say that whatever I'm trying to get across to you, it's worth enough for me to kill you or bring out a, a thing to threaten your life to get you to understand that I'm so angry at myself in this, and I'm so angry because you don't want to feed into it.
Now,
Because it goes
like
deeper.
that, somebody needs to have the more common sense to walk away from that situation.
No, I'm saying they walk away, but somebody's like,
that sounds like it's just gonna be just straight up deadly at some point.
but I'm
You know,
saying I didn't say
why
people.
I would think that a person would only have one time to. I mean, in a perfect society, somebody would only have 0 times put their hand on you, 0 times put a gun in your face. But it does happen. But if it does happen, again, at that moment, you need to make a decision on what you're gonna do, because saying that it's not gonna happen again is just not good enough these days.
Exactly the point that I'm getting to, right? We're gonna get into the meat and potatoes. I think men and women stand at the door with a knife, talk about, and the person got the bag in their head, and I'm out the door forever. You're not going nowhere. And if you go somewhere, I'll burn this bitch down, and I'm going with it. So you're gonna listen to me and turn around.
Hold on, I don't want this in any way come across as saying that I'm not saying that you shouldn't defend yourself.
Because my reception is all.
I don't no. In a situation where you need to defend yourself, I mean, if you feel somebody walking behind me that make me think they're gonna do me bodily harm, then that's a whole different case of a scenario. Then
this is what we say when we walk away and we try to be the bigger person, but somebody is lacking the grown folks or mindset to make things. Everything's ended. You know what I'm saying?
Now, if you're trying to walk away from a situation, it seems like somebody is consistent on trying to do you bodily harm, then yeah, by all means, do what's necessary.
It's still abuse, though. So I'm gonna do whatever's necessary for my survival, right?
Right.
So I gotta just saw Hack dugging you with a 2x4, and I said, okay, well, I was actually walking away, but you still gotta go in front. And this is the key point: a jury of your peers. Now, who's qualified to even make judgment on that? Like Mac was saying, right? That it's all kind of situations, but whatever. If both of y'all are right on this point, right? That we could say it's situational things that happen, right? So until we start beginning to understand, right? Not saying that we pass judgment on stuff, that we still have to ourselves, knowing that we won't do it, is a good start, right? And our platform that we're saying right now is a good way to do that.
Let me ask you guys something, right? Especially Shell and the rest of the women that are in the comments. What is your position when there is no physical abuse, right? Like you don't have to worry about having the argument that he's so much bigger than me, he can hurt me, he shouldn't put his hands on me, because that's not a part of the scenario, right? He doesn't touch his woman at all, but their relationship is still toxic. All they do is fight and fuck, right? Period. Can't agree on shit, right? Argue in front of the fucking friends, in front of the kids, argue over money, argue over time, and then the makeup sex is just beautiful. Enough for them to stay in it. Plus, the thought of desperation. Like, who the fuck else is going to put up with me and my bullshit?
Whoa, that's a deep one, Mac. You want to go there?
Well, my personal standpoint on that is that, again, you only going to have so many times to just beat me up verbally. Because if I'm understanding your situation is that it's not being physical abuse, but it sounds like it's a whole lot of verbal abuse going on. I got you.
Well, let me stop you right there.
Go ahead.
Where do you assume that verbal abuse is coming from?
Well, you said talk to each other crazy, so I just assumed that. And I'm not just saying on one point. It sounds like it was going on. Well, yeah, that is a form of verbal abuse.
What is?
me telling you ain't shit. You telling me I'm not shit. That's all a part of verbal abuse. So I think that if enough of that is going on, you need to recognize that.
I
At
just
some
stopped you
point,
because when it seemed like when you thought about it, you put yourself in the scenario, and then it was, oh yeah, you ain't gonna be talking shit to me like that. But it was
well, I'm
never,
just, well,
I
I'm
ain't gonna
just
be talking shit to you like that.
from one
You feel what I'm
standpoint on
saying?
myself.
You see how you see how a woman's perspective, a woman never puts herself in the big bad wolf's shoes. She's always Little Red Riding Hood.
No, I'm not
Niggas
saying
is
that
getting
my
abused up
fault.
in this motherfucker too, and that's what I was saying when I said to you, you know, how it, you know, how intellectually capable do you expect every man to be, right? Because if your bar is set at 10, but you dealing with a bunch of niggas that only know how to deal with 5, at some point you're gonna get choked.
Well, my standpoint is on both sides. I've seen verbal abuse happen as in with women with men and men and women, and I've seen it happen to each other. I think that's what we're defining as a form of a toxic relationship. I think at some point somebody needs to walk away from it.
I'm leaving
So
myself.
that's
I'm
my
actually
position.
pushing out the
My
club.
position on this that, and I use me for an example, and I guess this is just from my point of view, and I just happen to be a woman with triggers that I personally am not going just to allow that to keep on happening to me. Why?
Yeah.
Because it it has all the potential to go left real quick. You don't know, again, you don't know anybody's threshold. You know, maybe on day 265 of the relationship, I snap because out of all the days of the year, that day I just said I couldn't take it no more. And then guess
Yeah.
what?
So
You just might come in the house and you just might slam the door the wrong way, and I feel like it's coming. So guess what? That particular day, I got my dukes up. I'm ready to do something. They gonna say it was premeditated. How many times you see that?
a lot. So and that's the
And
point that we was going to.
and who wins in the situation? Like someone who felt like she had no other choice but somebody's back against the corner and they snap that day, then you might could claim, you know, mental insanity for that point. But again, you know, again, Key, you was right. You know, everybody has different thresholds of what they can deal with. Ideally, I'm not going to allow myself just to be in a situation like that because, again, I don't want to be put in a situation that's not going to be good later. And then I'm getting
So
everybody involved. I'm getting my family involved. I'm getting my friends involved. Somebody gonna get hurt. My brother ended up serving time for capping this dude because it doesn't.
Because that's how it goes.
So
That's
that's how it
exactly
goes.
how
that's
it
my standpoint on it because why? It's just never abuse is just never between them two people. Anybody that give a fuck about you, gonna give a fuck about you.
But nowadays it seems like it's the
All right,
norm.
Frank, we'll
If
holler
you
back at you, baby boy.
But it seems like it's the norm these days, right? That if you're not on 10 with the loudest one in the room doesn't win the argument, right? So if you're at 10, oh, motherfucker, woo, 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 all these, like I said, all this, Matt, Shell, if you don't speak it into existence, it don't exist. You know what I'm saying? If I don't lead with that, you know what I'm saying? It never exists. So, so if I fucked up by saying I don't even indulge into it, right? So am I the weak person because I hear it? My trigger is, hey, I'm not cool with it. I choose to go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And I done seen women and men, you know what I'm saying, that was a part of my, you know what I'm saying, uh surroundings, murked themselves off of words, committed suicide. You know what I'm saying? Men and women that offer just words. You ain't shit, you never gonna be shit, you know what I'm saying? That child is not yours, you know what I'm saying, so forth and so on. You don't have enough for this for me, you know what I'm saying? Your tools don't work, you know, so forth and so on. It's still, right? People still sign up for it. And you don't even know the difference when you meet a person that don't want to do it to it. Both parties will be like, that's strange because you're not acting this way. Do you love me? Do you care about me? Because you're not yelling at me. You're not throwing shit. You're not slamming doors. You know what I'm saying? And that is the part that we act used to because we see it in movies. first of all, right? We hear it and we see it on a daily basis. Somebody could be in the car next to you, motherfucker, and be like, damn, it's right there. You shake your head. The ultimate turn says, it's normal. What the fuck you looking at? Now you problem. You know what I'm saying? But it's out there in the world. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? It
I
really
think
is
a lot
out
of
there.
that stems from a lot of people not being exposed to healthy relationships. You know, some people,
Yeah.
men or women, don't really know what love is. Some people don't know how to love properly. You know, and some people just might think about, you know, being over aggressive, you know, that, you know, constitutes, okay, that's just how I love you. But again, it's not healthy. So, you know, being being, you know, experience a healthy trend, you know, and I say experience, but I just mean just learning healthy patterns. You know, there's just gotta be a way. We ain't got to agree on everything, but I think we should at least, you know, because arguments occur because people are normal. I just think we have to learn how to, for lack of better words, fight fair. You know, you need to
Yeah.
know. And again, I don't think that we do enough job with vetting the person that we say we love and be with. I need to know some of your triggers. You need to know my triggers. I need to know what's going to make you feel like, I because why? Because that's
Sorry,
usually
Maddie.
stuff that we need to try to stay away from. Again,
Yeah.
I think we need
Mm-hmm.
to stop normalizing somebody making you feel like shit, meaning that they love you. Don't
There you
equate
go.
that to how did we even get there? You don't feel good. I don't feel good. But we just gonna continue to be together and keep doing it. So now we
Yeah.
have children, they seeing this, and now they do it. And although ours might not have, it might not have ended with you shooting me, maybe your daughter or your son, because that's what they grew up with, that's what they experienced. They go through their relationship and they do get killed.
That
Well,
started for the sandbox. Go ahead, man.
I've been on both sides of the fence, right? In terms of being in toxic relationships, right? I've been the toxic person, right? You know, just because of who I have been for the vast majority of my life. And, you know, I think that what it is that it's just like I said at the beginning of the pod, is that things become kind of normalized, right? This is what you see in your neighborhood around you. You know, the people that are talking about, you know, men and women don't fight in their home or out in the fucking street or whatever, are people that don't live like us, is what we tell ourselves. And so when we grow up and, you know, these type of things are still going on around us, and then we get into scenarios with, you know, somebody who we really can't see ourselves without. And this is where the toxicity comes in. I can't see myself without you, but the shit that you do burns me up so fucking much that I can't ignore it. Right. And so then it becomes, you know, a action behind it. Right. And
Proving the point.
it could be as big as, you know, some physical shit, you know, nigga beating the girl's ass, or it could be as small as, like, to flip the script, I've been in a toxic relationship where this girl was crazy, like literally crazy. If I said the sky was blue, we arguing because she says aqua and aqua ain't blue. And we gonna go down
Stop,
arguing
man.
all
I didn't
night
even laugh. I didn't
until
even laugh.
everybody's gone. And then is, you ain't gonna come lay down next to me. And you know what I'm saying? And it's like, shit, I don't know what to do. I don't know whether to run or stay, because when I'm staying is so good. But shit, if I run, goddamn, you know what I'm saying? So I understand where people feel like they have to be stuck in a relationship, right? Whatever that is. And then the communication between them becomes normalized, whatever it is, right? And generally, you're going to bring into the relationship what you've seen in your past or what you've experienced in your past. What's okay, what you can get away with. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
if if she's a chick that I can get mad and call her a bitch, if she don't run back home to her mama's house, oh well, then that's the normal shit, right?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
So
You
we
let me get
saying
away
it's
with that
about what
shit.
you accept, the things you accept, or the things that you normalize. Is that what we're saying?
Well, what I'm saying is that things you accept things because they're normalized in the community and the immediate radius around you, right? So you see your neighbors, you see your aunties and your uncles, your mama, your grandmama, whoever, you know what I'm saying, went through whatever and shit, right? And the way that they communicated, you know, physically, non-physically, verbally. My mama used to cuss niggas out. Trust. Y'all love my mama because my mama was, you know, Brenda so sweet, do, you know, everything, cook good, take care of everybody. But I was there during them years, you know, 12 to 17 when she was trying to figure it out. And, you know, these niggas was not on her level. And she let them know.
Oh, no.
You know what I'm saying? And I could see in scenarios like that where that could have went all the way left. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that it's right or wrong. What I'm saying is that these were things that were kind of like normalized, right? My grandmother, my grandfather, they fought. You know what I'm saying? Like, my grandmother wasn't no punk. That's your Auntie Anna. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't letting no nigga just hit her. You know what I'm saying? She, you know, passing licks back. But what I'm saying is that shit was kind of normalized. That's what they did. You didn't get in, you know, married people's business or whatever. So if you 13 now or 15 and you see the neighbors outside, you know, in the fucking parking lot and she cussing his ass out 13 different languages because of some shit he didn't come home last night or whatever, you know, that's normal. You know what I'm saying? You laugh at that shit. So now when it's your turn, you know what I'm saying, and you respond that way, and your dude don't be like, hey, hold up, homegirl, I don't get out like that. I ain't sticking around for this kind of shit. If he don't give you that the first time, and this is what you're accustomed to seeing, then that's what it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? And therein lies that toxicity.
So are we saying that this could be labeled in the category as in when people say you have to get away from generational curses or break generational chains? We would label because we're saying that that's kind of normalized because a lot of people grew up with it, but just because it happened doesn't mean that it was right, and it doesn't mean that
it's never that it was right. It's never that it was right. It's just that it's what you've seen, right?
Right.
So you ain't calling the police. You ain't getting involved in nobody's business because you know nobody never has in our neighborhood. But here's the thing, right? And this is what brings us, you know, bring us around and kind of wrap it up. Is I think that in today's age, because of the availability of information, right? You're not just relegated to the shit that you see on the block, the shit that you see in your family. There's somebody out here who says, nah, man, this shit ain't cool. And now it's a whole bunch of somebodies, right? Including my ass, right? Because as toxic as I may seem, you know, when I express my opinions or whatever, a lot of times I'm really just being the devil's advocate because my life actually looks a little bit different, you know what I'm saying, than maybe some of these in-rooted foundational beliefs that I've been having for the last 50 years. I realize the times that I live in, and I also understand the benefit to looking at things differently than, you know, I may have looked at things 5 years ago.
Right.
You know, in the spirit of all the way transparency, you know, one of my hands is fucked up, right? But that motherfucker works. And everybody in Adelanto calls it the claw because they know it's many bitches that then been on the other end of that choke. And that's not saying it like it's no brag. It's saying it like that has been normalized to where niggas ain't saying, man, okay, Mac, that's fucked up. You choked that girl like that. Niggas are saying, yeah, nigga, I heard it was the claw. Feel what I'm saying? And that's what we kind of need to be moving away from. Because somebody Maddie's age would listen to that, listen to me say that, say if I was promoting that as, you know, this is what it should be, you know, Maddie is smart enough to say, nah, because that ain't what it is. You feel what I'm saying? So I think that right now the youth and the advent of social and the availability of information is kind of changing the consciousness of us. And I think that some of us, you know, that, you know, may have looked at things a little bit differently and shit because we got some fucking gray hairs on our chins. We need to, you know, step into, you know what I'm saying, the new era of, you know, how to look at things. And in terms of Quavo, I can't say what I would have done in his scenario because I don't know what he was tripping off of. If he was tripping off of just trying to dominate the chick, then nigga, you don't got my support. If you was on some shit like, look, man, she trying to do the one thing that she know that I give a fuck about. Like, you can scratch me on the back of my fucking neck as I'm walking out this elevator, but you're not taking this bag with whatever the fuck is in there. If he was on that shit, then shit just is what it is.
Mm-hmm. And to build up off that, right? That I'm happy that we had this discussion because it actually makes it's food for thought, right? Because anywhere it goes, we actually are all changing our lives better through this platform. So with that, I hope people are actually listening to it and trying to understand it and trying to find a way around it because that is leading to our destruction. Period. You know what I'm saying? All of it that we've been talking for these last couple of weeks, right? Been really like hitting home and making me open up my eyes. So I hope it's opened up other eyes too.
Well,
Go ahead and close it out for us,
I
Chef.
think that in taking away what we talked about today, I just think that we need to. Sometimes you gotta dig deep within. Sometimes you just can't depend on that other person to, make their decision for you. You have to. You have to at some point realize again when this may be generational or stuff that you may have normalized or that you're used to or you've seen. But it's something within you has to trigger at some point that this is not right. Regardless if you need to talk to somebody or because all that form of doing the work on yourself. But until you actually, you know, get to a point to where you can admit that this is not healthy, you're probably going to just continue the trend. No toxic relationships. Again, in a perfect world, you can recognize that shit from the early stages, but it doesn't always work that way. But at some point in it, then when you in it, you have to just kind of make the decision on how you want to live. Do you want to live with the fact that every time you go to the store and come back, or just the fact that you don't know who this person is. One minute they cool,
Ooh,
next minute they flipping the script on you. When that shit just continuously happens, you
wow.
have I think you owe it to yourself to be in a safe environment, regardless if it's just you, your kids, or your family. And again, just stop accepting, things that you it ain't love.
Oh,
And
Shell,
and
ooh,
it's it's not. And it takes some deep soul searching, because although you might care about somebody a lot, sometimes it just doesn't mean that you can be together. If there's more bad times than good times, you gotta look at that.
You're
Shell,
absolutely
you just
right.
said something. You said something very prolific, right? So since all the toxic people are getting left behind now, or this is the new face of relationship topics now. Toxic people getting a toxic relationship and being on video about it. Damn, that's deep. Because all us good ones is getting away from it. So it's just toxic people out there in toxic relationships now. Wow.
All right. What I would say is that the practical opposite of toxic is peaceful. And if you don't seek peace, you don't seek me. With
That's
that,
right, baby.
we have been the Piranha Pond live at 5. I want to thank my cohorts in the pond, Mr. Nick Nass,
Right. Let's keep it doing it like this, baby. Thank y'all. Love y'all.
and also the lovely Miss Nick Mo.
Thank y'all. And our other co-host Frank, who was having some technical difficulties, but he was still here in the comments and definitely still here in spirit.
Yes, indeedy.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
indeedy. All right. I want to thank everybody for joining us live at 5 from Piranha Pond on Facebook Live and YouTube Live as well. You can catch the replay on both channels. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you already have. Follow us on Facebook, the Piranha Pond page. Get in the discussion. Jump in. Tell us what you want to talk about. Jump in and come in and join us on the Pond Live. It's all going down on the Piranha Pond page on Facebook. And again, once again, as always, we have been live and now we are